Okay, so we're gonna do a minor remodel for this bathroom. We're gonna change the faucets, they don't work properly, and we're gonna put a little wood trim around the mirror to make it look a little bit prettier. Okay, so these are gonna be our raw materials for the wood trim around the mirror. We're gonna put it around the mirror nicely to make it look better, and this is what we're gonna use. We're gonna use 4 of these little squares and these long trim lines that we can put on the edge. This is the one that I picked. There's several available at the store, so you can pick different designs and all kind of stuff. I kind of go with somewhat of a simpler, I don't want it too complicated. Okay, first I measured the mirror, so these are gonna be the length that I need to cut my trims to, and obviously the mirror is bigger than this, but whenever you calculate, make sure you include the little squares. You're gonna put the square in the corner, and then you're gonna make sure to bring the trim from the edge of it next to it like this, and then you will measure it that way to make sure that this will include the squares. Therefore you will not have to cut twice. And also when I'm going up, I'm not gonna measure the wood that I cut here. I'm not gonna measure it from down here, since I'm gonna take the square out, and up here too I tend to don't put the square on top of it, just glue it to it like this. Okay, we're getting ready to start cutting it into pieces. We have 3 of them. One of them is gonna be the 2 sides, and the other 2 long ones gonna be the top and bottom. Whenever you do this, try not to make it out of 2 pieces, meaning that this piece make it one, this piece make it one, from beginning to end make it one, all the way along. If don't make it out of 2 leftover pieces, because then, unless you're an expert where you can hide the line between the 2 pieces, you will always see that little cut between the 2 pieces. It's just gonna be annoying. So I would prefer, the way I like it is to make it just one nice piece from beginning to end. And there you go, and now we're gonna start cutting. Okay, here we go. This is cut to the right size, and I assembled it a little bit so I can have a visual of it. This is how the corner is gonna be. You're gonna put it next to each other. I prefer to put the thick edge of it on the outside and the slim one on the inside. Okay, paint time. We're gonna paint the squares and the pieces that we cut. We're gonna give them probably at least 2 layers, and we'll see how they look. Paint all sides, make sure every side of it is covered, so when you put it up you're not gonna have any missing areas where the color doesn't match. And that's it for now, and after this we're gonna switch straight to, when they dry, installing them up on the mirror. Okay, so while I painted outside, while the paint is drying, I did this. The mirror is held up on the wall by these 2 things on the top, and we're gonna have to take these off in order for the wood to lay nice and smooth on it. So in order for it not to fall off the wall, we put glue on top of the glass, top of the mirror, all the way along nicely, and that way when we take these off it will not fall off. That glue will hold it in place and you don't have to worry about it. So make sure you don't forget this part, because if you take those screws off and don't put any glue, well, some glass might be broken. Okay, now we're gonna start the gluing process. We're gonna put glue on their backs, and here's one. This is how, just simply glue it to it. Make sure it sticks nicely. You put it in the glue in places where it actually touches it nice and well. There you go. It's pushed against it, and now we're gonna put the centerpiece between it. Okay, here we go. The first trim on the bottom is up, and as you can see, I put the squares a little bit too far out, but the glue is still fresh, so we're just gonna slightly push it against it so the gap is as small as possible. And if you cut it nice and flat, then they're gonna match up fairly well, and they're not gonna have a giant gap where you're gonna see in between the wood. There you go. This is the first piece. Now I'm gonna start going up. I'm gonna put the next piece all the way around, and then when it's done I'll show you how it looks. Okay, here we go. Everything is up, nice to the top, all the way around. If you have a second person helping you with this top one, it can be useful. And nicely up, and when you put the glue up, put something under it. If your paint is fresh, do like this, or fairly fresh. I mean, it's not tacky anymore, but I don't want to put a tape over it because you'll peel it off. So I just put something under it to hold it till the good glue dries. If your paint is dry, then you can just simply tape over it and tape it to the wall for a few hours or a day till the glue dries. But other than that, this would be the end of the trim install, and now I'm gonna start the faucets. That's gonna be the next video. So in my opinion, it already looks a lot better than just a piece of glass on the wall. So there you go. If you wanna do it, now you know how. One more thing, when all is done, you can put more glue on top of it here, all the way along this line. You know, more glue to hold the weight and everything. It's not heavy, just since we took out those screws, make sure that's enough. So put enough glue, make sure it's not gonna come off. I'm gonna go along this edge at the top and put another line of glue. And this one is the adhesive that I'm using to put up the mirror and the trims all around. So there's several other ones that could work, but this is what I'm using. Well, one more thing you might want to know, that sometimes these trims come from the store not exactly perfectly straight. So after you glue it, you know, if it looks like a boomerang or something, it'll start pushing away from the mirror. So you're gonna have one side sticks, the other one's gonna push out and stand out. So solution is, the best one that I came up with is a lot of tape. Tape it, make sure you put more glue, because obviously over there it's gonna need it, and tape it as much as you can to make sure it doesn't lift away, and let it dry that way.